Let's learn to write your own VBA functions. These are user-defined functions, UDFs. Excel provides a lot of functions and will accomplish most of what we want to do, but sometimes you get to the point where you wish you had something that would do a particular job for you and you can't find it anywhere. So you decide to start writing your own. Like any function, a UDF function, user-defined function, can be as simple or as complex as any other function is. Let's begin with a blank spreadsheet here, and we'll write a function to calculate the area of a rectangle. I know this is easy to do, but we'll do it together to learn how to develop a function. So I'm going to go to Developer, Visual Basic, and it's very important all your functions need to be in a module. You notice if I double click on a sheet here, I see an area that looks like I could write my program there. If I do, the function won't work. A function has to be in a module. So you go Insert, Module, and then come down here and double click on it. Only if you write your function there will you be able to access it. Now, like normal, I'll put option explicit to begin with. Let's make the writing here a little bit bigger so you can see it. I'll go to Tools, Options, Editor Format, and we'll make our size maybe 14. Remember, option explicit requires us to define any variables before we can use them. Okay, to create a function, we first start with the word function. And then I'm going to call this function area. I capitalized it all just because that's typically the way Excel does with their functions. Now this function needs two pieces of information. It needs the length and the height. You notice as soon as I hit the enter, we have the end of the function. So now anything in this area will be part of that function. I'm going to tab in and write area. Notice I'm doing it all in small, but it will capitalize it as we go along. Equals length times the height. And when I click off of that, you can see that now it capitalizes it, so I know that it understands and that we're ready to go. That's all there really is to writing this very simple function. So I'm going to hit Alt F11 to go back to the other sheet, and let's try it out. Say maybe we have a 2 and a 3, and I can say equals area. You notice as I start typing it, it pops up there just like the other functions. And I can select it and hit the tab key, and the first one will be here, comma, and then B3, close. And we find that the area then is 6. Very simple. I know you can do it in your head, but we're learning to write our own functions. Or I could use the function like this. Equals area of 5, 10. And the function works. Now, as we were entering the function, we put area. You notice it didn't tell us what the variables were that we need to use. That is something that only Excel can do. It requires underlying programming. But we do still have this fx available, which will say then the area is the length and the height inputs. Now it says no help available, and it doesn't describe what we want by length. But at least we have that much. Later on we'll see how to fill in this function arguments and information about them. But right now we're limited to this amount. Okay, let's make a variation to this. What if I put in the length of 10 and I didn't put in anything else? it says value. It doesn't know what to do with that. Well, we can create something that would take the length the same as the height with one small variation. Let me hit Alt F11 and take us back. And what I'll do is I'll say optional up here. That means I may not require this. It depends if I want to use it or not. And then I also will put an if statement. Tab in, if is missing. And we'll say height. Then I'm going to do one thing, else I will do this regular area. So we'll come over here, let me maybe indent that just a little bit more, and I need an end if. Okay, so if I'm missing it, I'll say something different. I'll say area equals the length times the length. Now that's interesting, so we can make this a little bit different. Let me equal those there. Okay, let's see if that works. I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, Alt F11, and let me input this again. And notice now it took the 10 times 10 and returned 100. So we don't have to input everything, but we would want to explain that well when we do our definitions up here later so that we know that height is optional. Let's try another function. A function that doesn't require any arguments. In this case, I want to say hi to whoever's using the machine. People have identified their machines and I want to be able to access that. Let's see where they do that. It says File, Options, and under General you see Personalize your copy of Microsoft Office. And it's in here that we have that. Okay, that's nice, but I'm not sure how to get at that or return that as a function. So let's do something else. I'm going to first say record a macro. Go here, and I don't really care what name it is. I'm just trying to find out how to get at that piece of information. So I'll say OK. And then I'm going to this same place, File, Options, General, and Personalize. And I'm going to change the name just a little bit and say OK. Now I've done something with that. I'll stop my recording. Let's go to Alt F11. You'll notice it set up a second module here. Whenever we record something, it will go in that module. I come up here. Oh, it's called Application Username. Now I know how to get at that information. Here we changed it so it's on the left and an equal sign. And that's not a function. This is a macro, a sub, but we'll use it as a function. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, I want a function again. And this one I'm going to call user. It doesn't take any arguments, and so I'll hit enter. Now, application user name. So user equals you notice it shows right up there as to what it is, and I'll hit the tab button and hit enter or move off of it. I have a new function now. Let's try it out. Alt F11, or I can just go back and forth the regular way. I can say equals user. I do need to put the open and close parens. It is a function, and it returned array. Or I could do something like this. I can combine it with other functions. I can say equals the length of user. and that was 3. Or I can say equals, let's put hi, space, and then concatenate that with user. Now it says, hi Ray. That's a lot of fun sometimes when you hand a spreadsheet to somebody. They put it on their computer, open it up, and it uses their name. Okay, that's a good start. For now, that's all we'll do. But read the chapters and be prepared to come and learn more about developing your own functions. Just a reminder, save this as a macro-enabled function wherever you're going to save it, as a macro-enabled workbook XLSM in order to keep both the code and the worksheets.